Welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Elaine Stenson. I'm joined in the studio today by Osmond Plummer, who's an independent wealth management coach and also a finance professor with the European University here in Geneva. The US Department of Justice says it's had over 100 requests from Swiss entities to join an anti-tax dodging deal. Osmond Plummer, what can you tell me about the settlement program that's been offered?
Well, this settlement has been negotiated between the authorities in Bern and the Department of Justice in the United States. It allows for 4 categories of bad boy bank, if you like, from the US point of view. The first category is those banks that are currently already in the process of being investigated by the Department of Justice. The second tier is banks can sign up saying that they will declare their US non-compliant clients to the Department of Justice and will have to pay a fine based on the value of the assets in the accounts. The third tier are stating that they have no non-compliant US clients and are prepared to be audited. And finally, the fourth tier is for banks who say that their business is essentially domestic Swiss business and they have no reason to suspect that they have done any problems with the US authorities.
And what are the consequences for Swiss banks? What are the potential consequences and what's the worst case scenario that they could be facing?
Well, the worst case scenario is an incredibly expensive scenario. The base fine amount negotiated by Bern is 20% of the highest level of the bank assets of these US clients. Now, bearing in mind that banks may not be fully aware as to how many US clients they actually have, especially given the case that many people have more than one passport and may have given a different passport when they set the account up, this could actually prove to be an incredibly expensive exercise for the Swiss banking industry.
Okay, and what kind of impact could it have, especially on the Swiss banking reputation?
I think the first impact obviously is a financial one, and that is clearly a significant worry. However, there is also the consideration of how safe is the information on your bank account now in a Swiss bank. If banks are signing up to an agreement to voluntarily give information to the US authorities, what country is going to come next? There'll be a certain amount of concern among clients, I believe, as to the security of their privacy in the Swiss banking context.
Okay, and is this a blip to the reputation of Swiss banking, or could this avalanche and become something bigger that could affect on the long term?
I think long term we have to accept that for OECD countries potentially the Swiss banking non-reporting, hiding your money is over.
Yes.
What will be just a little blip in the reputation, I think, will be in terms of emerging economies, Latin American economies, Asian economies, where Switzerland is still seen very much as the desirable place into which to put your money. It's still seen as safe, and there is no threat at this point of agreements to reveal the identity of account holders directly to the authorities of those countries.
And what would your advice be as a wealth management coach to these Swiss entities? I mean, over 100 have come forward so far and have made requests to join the anti-tax dodging program. What would your advice to be to those who haven't come forward so far?
Well, the deadline has now passed, so we will have to advise them to be very, very careful, to know that they haven't got any US clients, to be absolutely certain they haven't got any US clients. And there's always the problem that we talk about of the accidental American, people who are American and either don't realize it because they've neglected to recall that they were born there, or they just haven't got a passport, but that doesn't stop you being liable to pay taxes. If you're an American person, if you were born there, or even if you were born on an American military base, you're liable to US taxation on your global assets. Okay,
but the Swiss banking reputation is intact for now?
It's intact for now, but it's not quite as polished as it was maybe 5 years ago.
Okay, Osmond Plummer, we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
And that's all we have time for now, but do check back later for further updates and interviews from the Dukascopy TV team. Bye for now.